Well, not a lot has changed since we talked yesterday. Disappointment is still there, but you can't lose sight of the big picture with what we have. They mentioned yesterday, but I thought our fans were outstanding. Showing up, really involved in the game throughout. Disappointing we didn't give them, a little bit better finish to the game, but I know they'll continue to show up and we'll do our part as we go forward. As far as the game is concerned, it's not the ideal position to be in with the tie, but last I checked, I guess we're sitting still up at the top of the AFC South. So you have to, look at the big picture a little bit. There's a lot of good things we did to be able to get a lead like that. Good things have to happen, but it is about finishing an entire game. Decisions I made yesterday, I made most of them, not really looking back an awful lot on situations we made at the time. The fourth down at the end of the game, I would do that over again. Some of the other things we did in the game, looking on the offensive side of the football. I understand how many plays Damon Pierce played. The plan, of course, was for him to get more. You get into the game and situations make you go a little bit different direction, but you learn from those mistakes like that, mistakes of those situations that you look at the day after a little bit. Defensively, whenever you play that many snaps, it's hard to get the best effort throughout. Some of our guys played over 90 reps. That's a game and a half. But a lot of that we can control. No major injuries to report right now. We'll kind of see how that goes throughout the week. Take your question.
Lovie, Laramie and Titus both referenced miscommunication within the offensive line, third, fourth, and overtime. Your thoughts about that and what concerns you have, and is that needs to be fixed?
Yes, anything that we didn't do well needs to be fixed. Was there miscommunication with all our positions yesterday? Yes, there were. Without getting in specifics, for the players to say that, they were, these guys was kind of looking at themselves a little bit. All of us were, and you're going to have those on first game. That's what I'm going to say. And these things will work to correct, and hopefully not let that happen again.
I want to be sure I heard you right say, looking back on the decision, the fourth down.
The fourth down at the end of the game, absolutely, you heard me right.
What kind of made you realize that?
Not realize that. That's what I did then. That's what I would do right now. In a situation I said the plan, what I said yesterday was when we had 3rd and 1, the plan was to go 2 downs then. But once we got to 4th and 3, didn't like our odds, the way we had played the previous plays and how we were playing defensively. Didn't feel like giving them the ball on the other side. So you have a decision to make then on whether a tie, to me, a tie or a potential loss, as I saw it right then. And all we had gone through that day, I felt okay with that. We'll see how it turns out the rest of the year on that decision.
Lovie, what do you want to see from Pierce beyond running that'll get him more touches? What about his blocking, blitz pickup, receiving, all those things?
Well, it would be all of those, done. And sometimes, though, when you look back, you just look, I can't defend the amount of reps our starting tailback got in some of those situations. I wish he had gotten more. And we're going to work to get him more of those opportunities. But a young back, it's some of those things. I wouldn't say that just being a primary ball carrier is holding him back. But those are just some things that we're going to work on to make sure that situation doesn't happen again.
You're up 20-3 in the fourth, and it's fourth down at the 36 of the Colts. You guys took a delay of game, and you punted instead of sending Kaimi Fairbairn out to kick a field goal. Fairbairn's 18 of 28 in his career from 50-plus. He hit a 61-yarder last year. Do you still feel the same way about that?
I absolutely feel the same way about that. I realized exactly how far it was also. At the time, we weren't going to kick field goal at the 37-yard line. So taking when you say take the 5-yard penalty then, that was insignificant there. We had made up our mind for that. In that situation, we like to pin them down there and play defense as well. In a similar situation last year against New England, and we went a different direction. So that was a base part of the plan then. As we go forward, right at that area, sometimes we may kick it, sometimes we may not. But thanks for you quoting what he's done in the past. I appreciate you looking all of that up.
What do you need to see from your team overall to feel, I guess, more confident in that moment that you guys could close out the game? What are some of the things you need to see?
Good question. Play another game. And because you have to look at the entire picture on what happened. That was a good football team we were playing also. And I look at the NFL yesterday, a lot of games came down to a few plays here and there. That's the NFL. And for us, we're in the ball game now. We haven't been in a lot of situations. We're in the ball game now. There's some things that we need to do. We'll figure out how to finish games a little bit better in the past. But, there's a lot of the negative. Everybody only wants to talk about the negative, but there were a lot of positive things that we did yesterday too. How about Jerry? How about Jerry's play? Defensive end coming in here, getting an interception, getting good pressure on the quarterback. So there were some good things that we did also. We just not enough in kind of critical moments. But it's hard to be game ready. That I'm talking about being able to finish games sometimes, that opening game of the season. And hopefully that improvement that most teams make between week 1 and 2, it's what we'll make.
First down, you guys decided to run the ball. It looked very obvious. You brought in an extra offensive lineman.
I'm sorry. One more time.
On that 3rd and 1, right before you punted, you handed off to Rex Burkhead. Why go with that thing call? Because it was pretty obvious you guys were going to run it.
We thought that was our best play at the moment. Every play that we called, I understand you say this, that, why you do that. We thought that was our best opportunity to have a successful play there. Sometimes that's the answer. And it's not going to change. So that's the answer for that play right there. And most of the others, believe it or not, we were trying to win. So those are the things that's going to happen, all right, in those situations. So that's the answer, all right?
To follow up on that, there were times in the game you were trying to use that run game to take control. I remember the first half, I think Pierce tripped up in the backfield.
Yeah.
And they were up by 1 touchdown, tried to bring that same package out. I mean, how effective do you think that was, and is there more you can learn from those situations?
Well, we can learn for every situation, good and bad, and that's what will happen. But those same packages that we've used, we've had success with those, and you have to keep mixing it up. But it's not like we're going to stop what we were trying to do. The execution wasn't exactly what we wanted it to be in some of the situations yesterday. It's not like we're going to get away from what we believe. In order to go up 20-3, we had the same mindset. As far as calling plays and all of that. We're just going to handle the situations a little bit different, a little bit better next time. That's the answer, as we see it.
How would you evaluate Derek Stingley?
Yes.
How would you evaluate Derek Stingley, Joe?
First game, you need to get that. I know it's been preseason game, but the first regular season game, they were active. Petrie was. What he'll tell you is that probably missed a few too many tackles, but made plays throughout. The same thing with Stingley. There's some good. And with everybody that played yesterday, all NFL players, there's some plays you would like to have back. But both guys probably played the guys a little bit more than the initial plan was for them. How many plays did we have yesterday? 90, over 90, right? How many did they play? Over 90. Probably a few more than we wanted them to play. But they were ready to go. Already talked to them. They're excited. Both players will play better this week than they did yesterday.
Coach, stick with the defensive side of the ball. Stick with the defensive side of the ball. Yesterday, Jonathan Bernard said that the safeties had too many tackles. Owens and Petrie combined for 26 tackles on yesterday. He said that was a shame because we should have done a better job with the front seven on stopping that. Our safeties should have had many tackles. Do you feel the exact same way?
Exact same way. Safety shouldn't have that many tackles, yes. But keep in mind, I wouldn't just look at position. Sometimes a safety has a primary run fit where he's supposed to make those tackles. And that was the case a few times yesterday. Did we play our best ball with our front seven? No, we did not. Late in the game, we were able to run the football. Had to play better than that. If you have a defensive lineman saying that, I'm going to go with what Jonathan said. if he's making those statements, that's probably the case. And that's another thing that we need to clean up, and we will.
Lovie, the play where E.J. Speed came free to get the strip sack, what happened after, if you look at the tape?
Hey, I'm not going to go, you saw it too, I'm not going to call our guys, anything like that, a breakdown in communication. That's the answer for, you've talked to all of the players, some kind of told you specifics on what they did right or wrong, but we had a breakdown in communication, I'll say that allowed that to happen.
Lovie over here,
Back to that
Collins, what do you see from him in terms of ability to consistently get penetration? What is it about Malik that makes it?
Consistently, what Malik would say is that he wish he had gotten a little bit more. But Malik, he's got a great motor, he's quick, and all of that. And we expect that from our 3 technique to be able to get off the ball. It all kind of starts with that position a little bit. Yes, question over here.
You alluded to the fact that 90 snaps yesterday. You're going into Mile High this week. Will the rotation, you'll have to rotate more frequently because of the snaps y'all got this week and then going into the altitude next week?
Without going into the details of our game plan, that's a good assumption to make, that we're going to change it up a little bit. 90 is too much, so we do need to rotate a little bit more. But as the game's kind of, even as you go into a game, you have a set amount of plays you would like everybody to get, and then you get in the game, and then things change. And that happened a little bit yesterday. Our plan was to play the defensive guys that much, but you had a league, and they in the first half, now all of a sudden they're making a comeback. You want your best guys in there a little bit. But going into back to your question, quick turnaround, not a quick turnaround, but we understand where we're going, altitude and all that stuff, if that matters. But we will be rotating more, especially defensively this week. Absolutely.
How do you feel about your interior pass protection?
I felt okay yesterday. What do we have, 3 sacks or something like that? And late in the game, we didn't get the type of pressure that we need to get. Simple as that. So for me to talk about anything good that we did in any of the positions, coaching, players, we didn't do our best job late. And when you have a lead and an opponent is passing the football, that's when you need that pressure. And whether it be through blitz, 4-man rush, we rely on the 4-man rush an awful lot, so it needs to be better.
What did you see out of Kenyon along the same lines with the rookie? What did you see out of Kenyon? I know you've kind of gotten a late start for the season.
Well, we saw his marked improvement as he played, and he did some good things yesterday. So we've gotten that first game out of the way, too, with him. Kenyon is going to play more and more. We don't go in the starting lineups this early in the week, of course, but I like a lot of the things that he did yesterday.
Coach, a lot is being made about the 4th and 3 call. But can you talk about what happened on the first offensive possession you all had in overtime, especially with the field position?
I can't. You tell me what happened. I mean, I can't remember back then. I'm kind of on to Denver now. The specific play you want to talk about?
Well, you had sacks and you had penalties.
Well, that's what happened. Sacks and penalties happened during that time. I'm not trying to run away, but you answered your own question a little bit. Sack, big sack. Now I think I know which one you're talking about. Big sack, can't do that. Penalties are always a bad thing if you do it. First time game, we had too many penalties yesterday. Didn't have a whole lot of sacks, but the sacks that came were untimely throughout. I will say that. Absolutely.
Speaking of those penalties, with that play where Jalen Petrie's called for hitting a defenseless receiver, I know you're defensive-minded coach and these guys aren't living in the matrix in slow motion. What do you teach him after a play like that?
Teach him not to do it, and not going against that. I mean, that's kind of, just like that with the play. Want to get, stay away from that head and neck area best you can. Jalen turned around, the guy was there. So some things like that are going to happen. Lower the target, all those things you talk about. That's what we'll be talking about. There's a lot of things I was really upset in the game about. With pre-snap penalties and things like that. Sometime in the heat of battle, some of those are going to happen.
Well, considering how much you'll try to address your wide receiver depth since the
Yes.
opening of training camp. You guys try to go four wide sometimes. Is Brevin Jordan kind of one of your main options there, or Tyler Johnson obviously not inactive yet? How are y'all looking?
Well, he wasn't active last week. We're starting back over again. You know, Tyler just got in, hadn't had a chance to get into the offense as quick as some players were able to, like O.J. Howard. No one's kind of asked about him. How about highlight positive from How about a positive from yesterday? How about that O.J. Howard guy? Just been here a couple weeks, 2 big catches, and seriously just gave us something that we haven't, a little bit more to add with Pharaoh. And of course, you mentioned Brevin. But you just look at what the tight end position was able to do yesterday. That's something to build upon too.
I got a positive. Mills played really well until he got the sack. What do you guys can you do to help him make sure that he has the consistency you're looking for and doesn't struggle like he did after the sack?
John, I think the answer to that is, you have a first game. In the first game, players haven't played an entire that many plays, snaps. So some things you don't really know. You have to get to the first game and see, and then you start working on those things. I know Davis, with all the things he did wrong, he's all ready. It's a process started right away. And that's what we'll do. As coaches, you get into the first game and you see what we're able to do, what we did well, what we didn't do so well. All of those things come into play. That's why we talk so much about week 1 to week 2. We kind of know where we are right now. There were a lot of good things that Davis did. Even the first throw, Davis would tell you the one with Chris Conley coming across. Like to have that one back, but Brandon would probably tell you about the, first third down. There were some plays that we had that could really change the outcome a little bit. And hopefully the second game of the year, you see a lot of those things, that we do a little bit better.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.